Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Depends on which location are you joining us. Right. My name is Kuek Keng. You can call me Keng. I'm the data editor of the Police Center on Crisis Reporting. So my main role there is actually helping our fellows, our Rainforest Investigations Networks fellows in different regions in the world, right, to investigate the drivers behind deforestations of tropical rainforests. And thanks for joining us today for our part 2 of geospatial analysis, right? So for today, there will be no slides, right? Today is a very practical hands-on session, right? Last week, my colleague Gustavo, he has shown you, some of the examples, some of the concepts, right? So today is all about doing it, right? We are going to use our main tool, which is called QGIS, to do several practice, right, on, very basic geospatial analysis, right? I believe most of us here, are beginners, right? So I'm going to show you some basic functions, and we are going to look at I'm going to walk through some of the methodologies used by other stories in geospatial analysis and investigation, right? I'm going to share my screen now. All right, I hope you can see my screen. Before we go into QGIS, I hope everybody got our message earlier that you need to install QGIS. It is a free software, right? So everybody should be able to get it, okay? But before that, right, before we start on QGIS, okay? First thing we need for QGIS is our map files, right? Where do we find our map files, right? I always get this questions of, right, where do we get where can I find map files, especially for Southeast Asia, because the governments here, they're not the governments that like to share a lot of data with you. Okay, so a lot of time when it comes to environmental data or map files or geospatial information, right, we are relying on international resources. And the first resource I want to show you, I think many of you know about this, is the Global Forest Watch, right? It is not just a platform for you to explore different data, but it is also a good platform for you to track down where the data is coming from, so you can find the sources of the data, and hopefully they're able to share the data with you, or they have a website that allows you to download the data. Right. So I know that many people, when we come to this website, we will straight away go to map. And this is where you can look at different layers, right, of the data, right? So what I usually do is that when I want to look at, for example, land use, right? I want to look at oil palm concessions. Of course, I can switch it on so that I can see the layers on the map. But what important is that if I want to analyze it myself, okay, I will need to find where to download, right, all these polygons, right? We call these polygons, right? And there's no, if you look carefully, there's no download button here, right? So you will have to go to the information. It usually will tell you where the information is coming from, okay? And you can then see if are you able to download. Sometimes there's a download data here, right? Sometimes there's no, then you can track back, trace back to see where's the data for you to download, okay? So for our sessions today, we are going to look at the biodiversity data, right? I'm going to remove the palm oil concessions. I'm going to look at the biodiversity data. There's one data that I'm very, very interesting, which is the tiger conservation landscapes. And here there are two different layers. One is the tiger conservation landscape. One is a T times 2 tiger conservation landscape, right? So if I zoom out, you will be able to see where is the tiger? It's actually in Malaysia. Okay, so you can see there are two different layers here, right? So from here, I was able to track. From here, if you look at the information, you're able to click on download data, and it will bring you to the data repository by Global Forest Watch. And here, data is here, right? So if you go inside, if you click inside, then you're able to download the data from here. There's a button called download, and you can download data here. You don't have to download data today because I have already downloaded all of them, and I have put into a share folder that I can, which I'm now sharing with you, so all of you can access that folder, right? I put a link in the chat box, so please click on the link. You should be able to see all the different map files. So please download them into your computer or laptop. There's one file that is quite big. It's called Hansen GFC 2020, right? This is, I think, over 60, or it's about 60 megabytes, right? So this one will take some time. The RSPO concessions will take some time, right? The others should be okay, right? So I would like you to start downloading them now. So while I'm showing you QGIS, the downloading process has started, right? So that we can then later use the map files. Right. So we know that Global Forest Watch is very useful for one data set, which is the forest change. Every year, they will announce how much forest loss and forest gain in different countries, different areas, right? And this is where the data is actually come from the University of Maryland, okay? So if we look at the tree cover loss, if we switch on this layer, okay, and we click on the information button, there's a link to the data source. This is one of the data sets that I use most frequently. Okay, so you will come to a Google Earth Engine application, right? But what we need is the original data, so we can then do our own analysis in QGIS, right? If you click on the download the data here, this is where all the data are available for download, right? So for our purpose here, I have downloaded the, let me show you the year of gross forest cover loss, right? This is how University of Maryland detected forest loss using satellite images from year 2000 to 2020, okay? And when you want to download data, you have to pick which location you need, right? You pick one of them, right? So for our purpose here, I actually picked the Peninsular Malaysia, okay? And you click on the loss year, okay? Once you click on that, you will download the data, right? Which is the data that you have seen in the share folder. This one, this is where I got that is how I got the data, right? But anyway, I'm going to share with you the link as well, so that you have all the resources. All right. Another interesting data sets, for environmental reporting are the map files of all protected areas, right? So the World Resources Institute, they have a good data repository on all the protected areas, right? They are nature reserve, wilderness areas, national parks, right? Different types of protected areas, right? And the data is also available, okay? You click on go to resources. It will ask you to give, your reason, give it your email, and you will go to this page, right? Where you are able to search for country, okay? You're able to search for country and click download, right? They are also in the folder. The files are these three, 1, 2, 3. Why are they three files? Because the is too big, so they split it into 3 files for easier download. But actually, it's not big at all. You can see the size here: 1.4, 2.2 megabytes, and this one is less than 1 megabyte. So I'm not sure why they split into 3 files. But anyway, we're going to use 3 files, and we are going to merge them together into 1 file back using QGIS. Right, that is also a good practice. So I have to tell you, like, okay, I told you, like, these 3 files, where are they coming from? You have to, the tiger conservation, the forest loss, right? Aha, there's a RSPO concessions map files, which came from RSPO. Okay, so RSPO, they have a website that allows you to download the plantation files of all their members, right? All the RSPO certified members, right? Which means those are not all the concessions, right? Only for RSPO members. However, right, Indonesia is excluded from the dataset. You can read about their reasons of excluding Indonesia and things like that, right? But unfortunately, Indonesia concession map is not available. Okay, so this is how I got the file from. Let me just show you the download file, RSPO map download. Yeah, this is the one. So I'm going to give you this link. Okay, this is how RSPO concessions version zip file. All right. So now you know where all the files are coming. The last one, this is YP Olio site. Okay, keep that first. This is actually provided by a journalist. If we have time, then we'll come to this, right? So now we have all the files. I hope you have already downloaded them, right? Let's go to QGIS. Please open up your QGIS. So for those who are using QGIS for the first time, allow me to give a quick introduction. This is where your map will appear, okay, the space. And this is the browser menu where you can load some map file into here, okay? These are your layers, right? This space is important because these layers will tell you what map files you have here, okay? So for the latest version, if you are using the latest version of QGIS, right, under XYZ tiles, if you you should have OpenStreetMap. Google Map files, but OpenStreetMap. If you double click on it, it will open up OpenStreetMap. This layer will be inserted into here, into this panel, and you will see the OpenStreetMap on your maps here, okay? All right, I'm not sure why there's a line here. It's okay. Okay, it's gone. Right? So this is the OpenStreetMap. This is the map that we usually see, okay? If you want to use Google Map, right? You want to see where, I know many people are very familiar with Google Map. If you want to use Google Map, right, you can link Google Map to QGIS, okay? And how do you do that? Again, you go to XYZ tiles, right? Let me give you a link very quickly. You need to link, right? So you go to XYZ tile. I accidentally insert the Google satellite images. You go to XYZ tile, right click on it, click on new connection. New connection. You'll get this box. So give it a name, right? Google. I'm going to load up the satellite images. Okay. I'll just put 2 because I have the satellite images to the URL. This is where you need to put in the link that will connect QGIS to the Google server. So from there, you're able to load Google satellite images, just like the one that you see on Google Maps, okay, into QGIS, right? I'm going to put the link in the chat box. All right, this is the link. Don't open the link, but copy the link and put in here under new connection. After you put it in, give it a name, then you click OK. Then you should get a new layer here called Google Satellite Images 2, right? Double click and you get the Google Satellite Images. Okay. For all the other links, right, I have a Google Hybrid, Google Roadmap. Roadmap is the one that we always use on our Google Maps mobile app, right? This is the Google Roadmap, right? For all this link, they are in the workshop notes file that I put in the sync folder, right? Yeah, these are all Google's hybrid satellite roadmap, terrain roadmap, right? These are all the link that you can load into your QGIS, so that it's easier if you want to know where is certain locations, certain places on Google Map, because it's easy to navigate, right? You can load them as your base map. Right? You can load all the different Google Maps as your base map. So if I put in hybrid, hybrid means a satellite plus the labels of locations. Okay. If you have any questions, please put in. You can ask about it. If you need me to stop and repeat something, let me know as well. You can also unmute yourself, to speak into the phone, speak into the mic. Sorry, if that's allowed. All right, so this is the basic, right? You load different maps into QGIS. After you have all these layers, right? The next time you exit the game, it will still be there. Okay, so I'm probably loading too many 4 layers here, right? So now here's the thing. The layer that is on the top, okay, will always appear first, right? Just like, so if the layers is at the top, of course, you see that layer first. So if I hide the layers, how do I hide it? I just untick the box. There's a checkbox here, right? I uncheck the box, then Google Hybrid is gone. It's not gone. It's hide, right? It's invisible. And you are now looking at the second layer, which is the Google Road Map. If I uncheck it again, then I'll see the Google Satellite Images layer. If I uncheck again, I will see the OpenStreetMap. If I again uncheck it, then I'll see the blank because no layers are shown, right, in the window here. So I'm going to just use probably Google Satellite Images, right? So if you think there are too many layers here, right, it is a little bit hard to manage, you can remove them. You right click on each layer and you click on remove layer. Remove one, then say okay, and the layer is gone. Okay, so let me remove layers. User set up images. Okay, you can hide it, show it. Is that on the top will always appear here first. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is at the right bottom as an EPSG3857. This is important because here, if you click on it, short form CRS. So what does that mean? CRS means how do you want to project the map? Because we know that, I think Gustavo mentioned that last week, Earth is a sphere. Right? Flat it into a 2D image, right? The to flat it out. And this are different ways. There are a lot of ways. So if you scroll up and down, you'll see there are many of them, right? Okay. And depends on which country are you in, your country map files might prefer a certain type of projection, right? Usually it will be stated in the map file or stated on the website. So you need to change your project layer. This is your project projection to that projection, right? So by default, usually it is using this pseudo Mercato, right? Which is the one that we always that we have on Google Maps, right? On most of the maps, right? The one we have, right? That is the Mercato projection. All right. So we don't have to change that. Okay. It's okay. We can just keep that here, right? We're going to use that. But just to be careful that if your map files are in a different projection, you might want to change it. There's one thing though, is that when you put in a layer, okay, when you add in a layer here, but the layer is using another projection, okay, change your layer projection to fit the one right on your project. Like if I add a layer which is not EPSG 3857, right? QGIS will automatically convert that into EPSG 3857. Okay. But I want to appear on my map, this projection, then I have to change myself here. So let me just change and you can have a look. What do I mean by, different projection? So this is 3857. Let me see. Yeah, this one probably is a little bit different. Fine. It's just the projection is different, right? This is very different, actually. This is EPSG 3031. Right? Now you get the idea, right? Different projection. Let me see if I can. So it all depends on how fast your internet connection is. Sometimes the loading might take some time. I want to show you this because this is interesting. But yep. Oops. Come on. All right, forget it. When you have time, you can play with it, right? Let me just go back to the one that we all got. Right, since most of us are from Southeast Asia, I'm going to use Malaysia as the example here to do our geospatial analysis. Okay, the next thing is once we have the base map setting, right, we can then add layers on top of the base map, right? So to do our geospatial analysis. So the next thing I would like you to do is once you have downloaded the layers, right? First, let's put in the tiger layer, the tiger conservation landscape GeoJSON, right? So there are different map files, right? Google, I got Google. Gustavo I mentioned last week. You have GeoJSON, you have zip file, you have shape file and things like that, right? So for most of the file that I shared with you, I downloaded them as GeoJSON, right? So the way of putting a layer into QGIS is actually very easy, right? Just drag the file that you have downloaded and put it on QGIS. Okay. And after some time, you will see a new layer on top of the base menu here, the layers here is on top, right? It is the first one. So you'll see that layer first. Conservation areas that, that the tigers need in order to survive, because those are their, the area that they have they do their activities, right? So these are the areas. Okay. So we have this layers. So what else we have? Remember just now we have the protected areas, right? So let's look at our protected areas. There are 3 files, right? I remember I shared with you. There is this SHP1, SHP2, SHP3, SHP0 and 1 and 2. Okay, these are 3, and they are all zip file, right? For this case, you actually don't have to unzip them, right? Because they are we call it a package, right? They are shape file in a package. So you don't have to unzip them. If you unzip them, they become a folder, right? You can also use the whole folder, okay? But in this case, you know that here it says that SHP means shape file, and they are in a zip format, right? So in that case, you actually don't have to unzip them, right? You can load more than 1 file at a time. So I'm going to select all 3 of them, right? And drag and just put it here. Okay. Now it will ask you, there are 2 layers here. Do you want to put in? One is a points, one is a polygon, right? Vector, type vector. I said, okay. Then the second file, click OK. The third file, you click OK. Oh, now it's a mess, right? We have so many different things happening here. Okay, so for us to know which layer is which, right? Now we can try to show and hide them so that we know which layer is which layer. So let's uncheck all the boxes here. Okay, now we only have the base map. Okay, so now we can look at the first one. Then we hide it. Then let's look at the second one. This is a protected layers as well, but they are small little. Maybe on one of the point and see what it says. I can't even click on it. Okay, never mind. That's too small. There's another way to check them, right? So we'll come to that later. Just right, and the second file also have points. Then the third file, and the third. Right, the World Resources Institute, they split 3 different files, right? Files here, right? That's why we have others, right? Okay, so to make it easier, we can combine them together to become one file, right? So this is what we are going to do. We're going to combine the 3 different layers. You can see there are 3 different layers here, right? 2 layers, the gray color, one is the yellow color. By the way, the colors are just picked, right? That's fine. We have to combine them together, but we don't want the point file, right? We want the polygon file. So I'm going to click on the 3 point file, and then remove them. Remove layer. They're gone. Okay. Now I only have the 3 polygon layer. Okay. So far, so good. Message. Dana, share a link. I can't open your link. Oh, no, this is not the link. This is the link to the Google Map. Thanks for sharing that. Cool. Okay, there's no any other message. So let me go back to here. I'm going to combine these 3 layers together. So the way to combine it is to go to the top menu. If you go to the top, you will see there's a menu, there's an option called vector. You see geoprocessing tool, geometry tools, right? Different tools, right? So the combine or merge different layers, it is under data management tools, right? So we go to data management tools, we go to merge vector layers, right? These are all vector layers. Just as raster, right? Gustavo touched a little bit last week. We are going to look at what a raster layer. Those polygons, right, and points, they are all vector layers, right? They have shape, they have lines, they have a point, right? Those are vectors layers. Raster layers is image, right? We'll look at it later. Okay, so now we click on merge vector layers. We have this dialog box. We need to give it the input layers, which layers that we want to combine. Okay, so we click on the input layers. You just take the 3 layers that you want to combine, join them together. Okay, once you're done, you click OK. Just now I click this button, yeah. Click on 3 of them and click OK, right? Then the destination CRS, if you want to change the CRS, the projection, in this case, we don't want it. We keep it as 3857, right? So merge, okay, this is where file, right? You click on this file, right? Right, I'm going to put merge protected, right? Merge protected. Then the file format, you can choose spatial data. I'm just going to go for GeoJSON, right? GeoJSON. Then I click save. I already have the file with the same name, so I just replace it. Okay, here, sorry. You need to click run, right? You need to click run. Just now the box just disappeared. I don't know why. Okay, you need to click run. Okay, once you have the file name, okay, the folder, everything, you just click run. After a few seconds, right? By default, you can close it. By default, you will see a merge protected areas here, the new layer, the merge area, right? See, now all the 3 files have been merged together, right? Just now they are on different layers, right? Now we merge them together. Okay, so let's check again, right? Just now we have 1 layer, 2 layer, 3 layer, okay? Now this 3 layer have been merged into 1 layer. This is how it was new file. Okay? So now I'm going to remove the 3 files from the WRI, the World Resources Institute. I'm going to just use my merge protected files. Make sense? Okay. I'll select them, right click. When you remove the layer, right, they are just removed from QGIS. They're still in your laptop, so don't worry about it. Remove 3 legend entries, yes. So now we have merge protected, and we have remember we have a tiger layers. Okay, let me just look at some of the questions here. There's one question from Harry. Can we move the layers up or down on list without delete them? Yes. If you don't want to remove them, you want to keep them there, maybe you want to use it later, you can just move them under the base map. So let me show you. If there's a tiger, this is a tiger layer, right? If I move the layer under the Google layer, how do I move the layer? Okay, you can just click on it and drag, right? Move it. You can see that you can drag. Okay, just move down here. You won't see it anymore. Because why? Because now it is under the base map, under the Google satellite images. Even if you check the box, you won't be able to see it because the Google satellite images is on top of the tiger conservation landscape layer. Okay. If you can't drag and drop, there's also an option, right click and move to top, move to the top. Click on it, it will go back to the top, right? So now this is, we have okay, conservation, we have the protected areas. Let's look at the RSPO plantation, right? So we know whether any RSPO plantations are inside the protected areas or any RSPO plantations are actually part of the tiger conservation landscape. That would be interesting, okay? This is what we call geospatial analysis. We want to know which area overlap with which other areas. We also want to know, sometimes we want to calculate the distance between two different locations to see if they are impacted, by certain activities, in the forest, right? Like mining, reforestation. Right. We have the RSPO layer, right? Okay. The RSPO concessions version 3, it is also a zip file, right? So usually a zip file, don't have to unzip it, right? We just drag and drop. This time I'm not going to drag and drop. I'm going to show you there's another way of adding files into QGIS. You go up here, on vector. So layer. There's a option says add layer. And you see that there are so many different types of layer that you can add. But the file, right, is a vector layer. So I click on add vector layer and you'll see this, right? Where is your vector layer? You can click on this box to find your vector layer. The RSPO concessions, open it, okay, and click add. Then there are two files here. I just click OK, load everything inside. Then we check which one is workable. So you see that there's a message say that valid layer, right? Blah 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 blah, which means that one of cannot be loaded. That's fine because that is not the map file. That is not a map file, right? Usually we'll have other types of file in a zip file. That's fine, right? Close the message, close the box, right? Now we have the RSPO. These are all different plantation. Our tiger conservation landscape areas as well to see if any palm oil plantation have encroached into the protection area. I have checked on them. There's none. They are just, they are like surrounding all the protected areas. This is in Malaysia, of course. Surrounding the protected areas, right? So which means, okay, nothing that is, illegal or inappropriate here. Okay. Right. So we have this layer. What else we have? Okay, we have the forest loss area, layer as well, right? So let's load that as well. So we have, just now I shared with you the biggest file of all. That is the Hansen GFC 2020, which means the forest loss. Okay, this is different from others because this is a raster layer, right? You see that it ends with TIF. TIF is an image file format like JPEG, like PNG, right? But TIF has geolocation data. That's why it is called TIF. Okay, so again, you can use the top menu to load the file. Of course, the easiest way, is actually to drag and drop, right? So I'm going to drag it and drop it here. Oh, wow. Now you see how different it is from others. Okay, we just downloaded this part. We didn't download the whole world because it's too big. So if you want to download for Indonesia, for example, right, you'll have to go back to the University of Maryland website and choose the tile. We call it a tile, right? That's the small square, right, on the map, which area you want to download, and you can download it. right? I just download this area. So you can see that this is actually an image, right? This is an image placed on the map. This is not polygon. There are no lines, there are no shapes, there are not point, right? If you zoom in, they are pixel, right? Pixel. When you, these are all computer pixel, right? You see that, right? So why are they different colors? This is interesting. You need to figure out why are they different colors and what does those colors mean, okay? So if you go back, remember this is important, go back to read about the file that you downloaded. Let me just show you. Here, all right. The file about data set details, okay. So if you read here, you will see that we download this file, right? So forest loss during the period year 2000 to 2020, defined as the stand replacement disturbance or a change from a forest to non-forest state, right? All right, encoded as either zero means there's no loss, or else a value in the range 1 to 20. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 until 20. What does that mean? In representing the loss detected primarily in a year 2001 to which means that if the value is 0, which means there's no loss. If the value is 1, then which means the forest loss happened in. If the value is 20, it means the forest loss happened in year 2020. Now we know what it means. Okay, so let's go back to our QGIS. So how do we know whether this is 1 or 2 or 3 or 15, 16, 17? This is where we need to change the color of our raster image. Okay, how do we do that? So guys, look here under the layer, right click on it. Okay, right click on it, go to properties. The information, okay, information is basically the information about the data file. You can see the CRS, the projection, is not 3857, it's actually 4326. So does it mean we to change it? Not. QGIS will automatically change it to 3857. So don't worry about that, right? You can also look at it. The shape looks like it's still the same, right? This is the shape of the. Right? So it works fine, right? So you don't have to change that. Okay, where's my properties? Okay, let me open up again. Right. So look at always. Then we want to. Okay, symbolic. Here now you see that color gradient. There's a render type of single band gray. So now we know that it's 0 and 20 pixel in the map file, right? They are colored from black to white. So which means 0 is black, 1 is very dark gray, right? Some gray until 20. Right. So I want to have, like, let's say, value 0, which means no forest loss, is transparent, right? And value 1, which means forest loss in year 2001, is red color. Then 2002 is green color. 2003 is blue color, probably, right? To know so that we can differentiate the forest loss in different years. Okay, the way to do that is to change single band. Band them from white to black, or to light red to dark red, right? Single band. So let's do paletted means 0 to 20, each value has its own use. No colors here, right? Because classify for a few seconds, get some drink. Now we have a list of color from 0 to 20, right? So 0 means no first loss. 1 means first loss happened in year 2001, right? And the rest are the other years, right? You can try to click apply to see how it looks here. Okay, so no first loss means that it is in the ocean, right? There's no, or in the urban cities, right? Or in the national park where there's no first loss, right? So in that case, right, let's change this to you double click it, right? You can change the color, right? We want to change it to transparent, no color. Okay, opacity is right now is 100%. We'll just have to move it until 0 so that we cannot see it at all. Okay, now our base map is back. And we have the different deforestation happening in different locations with different colors. The colors means the year. Okay, so let's say we just want to look at the past 3 years, all right? 2018, 19, and 2020. So what happens? I'm going to remove, you can select multiple of them, hold down your control key or command key if you're on a MacBook, right? Just hold them down. You want to look at on the last 3 years, so let me just okay, or you can use shift and click on here, which means select everything. Okay, and delete. Don't click delete all, yeah? You're going to delete everything. Click this button, the minus button. Remove selected rows. Okay, done. I do want 17 as well. So I just take 3 years, right? So now there are 3 colors. The colors are not. Adila. Okay, cool. Adila, you found it. Cool. I'm sorry. I just replying to the message box. Okay, this color, they are like quite close to each other. I'm going to use more different color. Okay. Let me see. I'm going to do blue. Okay. Then this one I'm going to do probably orange. Okay. This one I'm going to do red. Okay. Cool. I have 3 colors. Okay. Apply it. And now you see in your map, there are less pixels, right? Less pixels because we only look at 3 years of deforestation. Sorry, first loss. Probably not deforestation, right? First loss. Detect at the University of Maryland. Right, down. Then we click, okay, now we can zoom in. Now we can see where the deforestations are happening and which year. Red color is year 2020. This area is interesting. Wow, this is a huge area. First loss in 2020, right? So now we know this is 2020. This is 2018, right? The yellow orange color is 2019. Okay, there's a questions. Can we bin the value into range? You can use the same color for several years, right? In that case, you'll be able to see, let's say, all the 5 years. Actually, it is possible as well. Let me show you. You can use multi-band colors, right? And then you click your minimum, maximum, and minimum, maximum, right? So you can have three different, right? Or you go to still doing the palette values, right? But you use the same color for different years, right? So let's say we are using 3 different colors for 2018, 2019, 2020, right? we can also use the same colors. So we are looking at the same colors for 3 years, right? So it depends on you, right? You can play along, you can play with this and see, you know, how you can change it, right? All right. Okay. I think I made some mistakes. Sometimes QGIS, right, is open source. It is actually open source, so sometimes not very stable. Sometimes you will get this kind of, you know, hiccups here and there. You know, it's okay as long as you know how to get it back, right? So I'm going to. If I know which you want to get, I'll just click add 0, color, opacity 0. Okay, then I will get. I want to change the value. Let's say I want to look at 2020. Purple color, probably not. Probably I'll put the red color. Okay, done. So I'm now only looking at first loss at year 2020. Okay, so this is how you color the raster layer. Okay, so this is raster. Raster, it works very differently from vector because raster, they are pixels. All right. So let's look at a little, before we do analysis, right? We need to know how to manipulate all these different layers first. So let's look at other layers. And now you can see that the interesting thing is that there are some deforestation, forest loss. I have to keep correcting myself. Forest loss. It doesn't mean deforestation. Forest loss inside the protected area. Okay. So let's look at protected area now, right? Again, we want to check the information. Right click on it, go to properties. You can also change the color. Then do a now you are looking at outline, but in this case, outline is not very clear. The outline doesn't make sense. I'll just go back to simple green. Okay, so there are more information in vector layer. Okay, I'm going to show you how you can look at it. Right click on it, click on this open attribute table. Different area, each different protected areas, right? So click on open attribute table. So you see this table here. So you see that for those Malaysian would know that what are those names, right? These are you'll see that there's name. Sorry. Oops. There's name. There's a origin name, destination, state park or national park. I think it's different type of parks. All this data comes from the WRI, the World Resources Institute. Okay, they are encoded in this vector file, this map file. So these are all. So let's say I want to look at something in Peninsula. Oh, like a Labis water catchment. I think this is a water catchment area or something like that. Yeah, water catchment forest, right? So how do I go to this area? I want to look at this area, right? So I just right click anywhere in this row, as long as you're on this row, right click and pick zoom to feature. And it will zoom and show you that feature. Feature here means the polygon. Okay, so let's move this to a corner. We still need this data. So I think this is the one. Okay, you can also select. You can also use the selection here. So this is the one. If you click on it, this is the one. All the data is in the attribute table. Let me just make my window smaller so I can see my attribute table. Okay. Right. So this is Labis, right? This is the water catchment area. This is the polygon. Okay. Another way of, okay, what if I want to select from here and know which row the polygon is? Okay. Just now we look at the data here, right? And we click, right click, and we go zoom to feature. Right now it is showing me this is Mersing. Now this is Mersing, the Mersing water catchment area. You can see that it's very near to some plantation, I guess. Right, but be careful, guys. This is Google satellite images. Google satellite images might be a few years older. Okay, you are looking probably at 2017 and 2018, right? This is not the latest satellite images. Okay, so just be aware of that. Right, don't make any conclusion. Right, we are more interested in like the polygons here. Okay. Anyway, just now you select the table and you're able to get the polygon on the map, right? So let's do the other way around. I want to select a polygon here and I want to know the data about that polygon, right? So we go for another, we go to another, this is a huge one. I guess this is some national park, okay? I think it's the Endarompian National Park, this one. Okay, so how do you right click on it, right? It only gives you one option, copy coordinates, right? This is how you can get the coordinates, okay? Coordinates could be using the different CRS. So just to, our normal coordinates that we use on Google Maps is called WSG84, right? You can see the coordinates here. Okay, that is not what we want. We want to know what area is this, right? What is this national park or, you know, protected areas or water catchment area? So the way to do it is to use this button. This is called select features by area or single click. Okay, so click on it. And now you'll see that your mouse pointer has changed, right? Click on this feature. Okay, now you highlight it, right? Go back to your attribute table. It is not very intuitive, okay? There are several steps. You scroll down until you see the highlighted row. This is called Endau Kuang Wildlife Reserve. All right, this is how you find it, okay? So let's do another one. Let's go back here, click on another one. Oops, yeah, here. It will become yellow color. Then you go back table and scroll down to see which one has been highlighted. Here. This is Endarompian Pahang State Park, right? So this is how you can get the information here showing on the attribute table. The same goes for, let's say, the plantation, right? So this here is a plantation just next to, here is some plantation, RSPO plantation, just next to this area. So when you want to move the mouse again, right, you have to change your pointer back to hand. Okay, just click on hand, and you can drag again. Okay. All right. So let's see what I want to know. What plantation is this, or here? Okay. So again, I'm going to click on this. Oh, I have to change my layer first. I need to change my layer to RSPO. Okay. And click on it. Sorry, guys, my 3 years old daughter is trying to ruin my workshop. Okay. Right, I click on that. I have to change the layer first. And I click on that. Then, of course, I will have to right click, open up the attribute table and see which one has been highlighted. Again, I'll scroll down. Yeah, this is the one. Felda Global, Pahang Rompin. Yeah, the plantation name, Selancha 09. All right, so this is how you can select the feature here or the polygon here and match it with the one in the attribute table. Okay, now we know the vector. So one trick of doing manipulating with the vector, right, is that if I want to know what is beneath, what is under the layer, right, but now currently it's blocking, right, I have to always unhide and hide it and show it, hide it and show it, right? So there's a way for me to do that is actually right click, go to the symbology. I can change the opacity to about probably 20%, around that figure will do, okay? Say okay. And now you can see that it is become like semi-transparent, right? And you're able to see overlapping things. You're also able to see, layers that are things that are under the layer. Okay. Right. Cool. So this helps us to better navigate, right? Okay. You see that they are still yellow, right? You need to unselect them. Yeah, and this is unselect this button. Deselect features so that they are not yellow. Okay, so depends on how you want to see different layers. You want to compare them. You can change the opacity, okay, of different layers to look to have a better, clearer view at different things. Okay, right. The next thing I want to show you is that just now I show you, like, now you can actually do comparison of information and protected areas. So let me change back the styles, the opacity higher, make it higher. So like the interesting things would be, like here, deforestation in year 2020, but this is clearly a protected area. So what is happening here, right? So you can look at different areas and inspect them one by one to see what is actually happening. Okay, so just try to look at overlap areas, the red color, the red spots, which means forest lost, and the protected areas, right? But peninsula, I think, is okay. Not many forest lost, except this part. This is a huge part. Let me see what area is this. I think this is the national park. Ibam water catchment. Oh, it's a catchment forest. And Chini water there's a Chini, which is one of the largest what do you call it? Gosh, I cannot find the word. Lake in Peninsula. Okay, one of the largest lake, and it has been on the news recently because of some environmental damage in that area. Okay, yeah, probably worth looking into, like what happened in year 2020 here. I'm not sure what is happening. Oh, I have to deselect it. Okay. This area, right? There's a way to look at the latest satellite images of this area, right? We have said that these latest satellite images from the Planet Explorer, and Planet Explorer has a plugin. So let me show you. I have installed the plugin. So how do you install the plugin? I have prepared it in the note here. For loading satellite images from Planet Explorer, you need to install the Planet Explorer plugin in QGIS. You can refer to this installation guide, but you need to create a free account. Okay, remember, create an account first, then install the plugin. Okay, then you're able to sign in here. You will get this thing. I know you don't have this, right? This panel. This is the Planet Explorer plugin, right? Let me show you very quickly. I'm also very interested, like I want to know what is happening here. So if you open up the plugin, this is the Planet Explorer plugin. You have to log in first. I already logged in. I go to base map. I go to the monthly monitoring satellite images. So there are different months. You can see that the latest image is actually July 2021, last month, right? So this is one of the latest satellite images that are free for us to use, right? You don't have to pay anything. So let me just click on, I actually want to look at the latest one and also in 2020. I'll just tick on the several months, right? The earliest, okay. And I click export selected. I will get a new layer here, right? This new layer, so I'm going to hide my Google satellite images now. And I'm going to move my merge protected area above it. You can see that when you see the blue bar here, which means that it is still loading. Okay, now I have the September 2020 satellite images. Let me zoom in a little, okay, and hide the other layer to see what is happening here. Okay, this is deforestation. This is not just forest loss, but this is actually deforestation. We know now what was happening in September 2020, right? There was the forest clearing is happening. You can see that. And probably if you move the layer, so when you load the layers from the Planet Explorer, right, you're able to load satellite images taken at different times, and you are able to use this slider to move them, right, to look at satellite images at different times. So now we are looking at September 2020. We can actually go to like currently July 2021, which is the latest. Give it some time to load. Has it become bigger, the area? I think so. Guys, I haven't looked at it, before this. I like to do my workshop like so that I also learn new things during my workshop. So I don't usually, prepare everything. But Planet Explorer sometimes can be slow, the satellite images, because probably the server is busy, probably my internet connection is not fast enough. Yeah, I say data complete is not incomplete, but that's fine. Yeah, we can see that this is definitely forest clearing. Until last month, it is still bald, like they haven't planted anything here yet. Right, so this is how you can do your analysis, look at the latest satellite images, and to do your own observation. But of course, you still have to go to the ground or ask people who are familiar with it to know what is really happening on the ground. Is it legal or is it illegal? Is it appropriate, right? And who were impacted, things like that. Right. So these are some of the very basic manipulation and functions of how do we look at different layers, whether they are vectors, whether they are raster, right? If you can follow until this step, this is good. This is really good, right? These are all the very basic things, right? I think it's getting bigger and bigger. Let me just go back to September. Yeah, this part was forest in 2020, but it was gone, right? Yeah, it was gone. Yeah, sure. They just clear it. Yeah, a few months ago. Oh, sad things. Okay, let me just hide this layer. We'll use back the Google satellite images because Planet Explorer satellite images are just too slow to load. Okay, the next thing is we are now going into more advanced analysis functions. So for example, right, I want to give you one use case here is that I want to know how many RSPO plantations are in the tiger conservation landscapes. Right? Those are not legally, declared as tiger landscapes, but those are just from the researchers saying that those areas are where the tigers are wandering. They need to, those are their habitat, right? So we want to know, as an example, as a practice, right, the overlapping area between RSPO and tiger. Okay, that's what we want to do. So how we can do that? We need to find the overlap. One layer is tiger conservation, one layer is, of course, from here we are able to see some of them, right? Here, right? But if we want to just look at them exclusively without using our brain to try to process them, we can use a function called, you can click on this wheel button. Is it called a wheel? Okay. It's called toolbox, right? You click on it, you will get a toolbox menu here. And the toolbox menu, you can go and find a function called clip. Clip means that, if there are overlapping areas, right, extract those overlapping areas and create a new layer based on that. Okay, got it? The overlapping areas would become a new layer, right? So let's do that. Double click. Oh, alternatively, you can go to vector at the top menu, geoprocessing tool. There are several different functions here. Okay, clip, different, dissolve, blah, blah, right? So you can click here, clip, or you can click here. It's the same. Okay, clip. Now you need to pick the two layers because you want to extract the overlap areas, right? One area is the RSPO, correct? The other area is the tiger, right? So then we give a temporary area. Let's say tiger RSPO. Save and click run. Now we get all the red colors warning messages. So what happened? Has invalid geometry. It says that the tiger conservation landscape has invalid geometry. Invalid geometry happens when people who are drawing the map did not draw the map properly, right? So there are like overlapping lines like this, right? Intersection of lines like this, right? We need to fix that before we can do this kind of operation. So it's okay, we close it first. Now there's a new layer called tiger RSPO, right? But however, you see that when there's no checkbox, right? Which means that it is not a vector. There's no polygons here, which means just now our operation did not succeed. We failed because there are invalid geometries in the tiger conservation landscapes layer. Got it? So let's fix that. Okay. Let's remove this tiger RSPO first, right? Because this is not valid one. We go to, how do we fix this, right? It's very easy. Go to the menu here. Okay, search for invalid, geometries. Fixed geometries. Yeah, search for fixed geometries. Okay, there's a fixed geometries here, which means fix the invalid geometry. So double click on it. Which layer you want to fix? The tiger layer, right? Okay, give it a new name. The new layer. That if there's anything goes wrong, you can always go back to the old layer. Let's do tiger fix. Save. I already have the file with the same name replaced. Where's mine? Okay, then click run. Okay, close. Now you have a new layer called tiger fix. It is actually the same as the tiger conservation. Okay, so now let's do the clip again between tiger fix and RSPO. It's clip, so go to clip, tiger fix, and RSPO concessions. Okay, then do tiger RSPO. Okay, replace the invalid files. Then run again. invalid geometries. Let's see whether it works. Okay, because of the invalid geometries, it takes a long time. So let's probably we do another one, right? Let's not do this. We fixed the tiger, right? So let's don't look at whether the tiger are in the plantation, plantations are in the tiger conservation area, right? Let's look at this, right? Whether the tiger conservation area is in protected areas, okay? Right? Because if it's protected areas, means that if the tiger is wandering around there, then the tiger should be safe, right? Because those are protected areas, right? Make sense? So let's do that. So in this case, it's a little bit different, right? We have tiger, we have protected areas. We can't see it now because tiger is on the top. I'm going to change the tiger styles so that the opacity it's about, yeah, probably 30%. Now you see the overlapping areas, right? The tiger area and the protected areas, all right? So we want to know where are the areas where the areas of tiger conservation areas that are outside of protected areas. Okay, just now we were trying to look at overlapping, right? But we didn't, it failed because of the invalid geometries, right? Of course, you can fix the ISPO geometries if you want, you can do it later by yourself, right? Now we want to find, just now we want to find overlapping, right? Tiger and RSPO overlap. Now we want to find tiger, but not protected areas, right? Tiger outside of protected areas. Got it? That's the difference. So it's not overlapping, right? It's outside of that area. So there is a function for that, which is called difference. So just click on difference, or you can search here. Difference is under vector overlay. So read this one. This just read the instruction. The algorithm extracts features from the input layer that falls outside, right? Outside another area. Harry has some questions on how we can measure. Yes, that's the next step. All right. So let's do this. The first you have the tiger area, right? The overlayer is the protected area, the merge protected, right? So now if we run this, then we'll be able to find the tiger conservation areas outside of protected areas. Okay. So now we're going to click save to file, tiger, outside, protected. Remember that you need to, where's my map? Oh, sorry guys, I zoomed too fast. Okay, I need to find this. Right, remember that the tiger should be the input layer and the overlay layer should be the merge, right? Don't do it the other way around, right? Because we want to find, in the end, we want to find tiger layers, okay? Outside of merge protectors, right? Okay, so let's run it. Fingers crossed, it should work. Ta-dang. Okay, cool. Tiger outside protected. So there's a new layer here. Okay, let's hide the tiger area and the merge area. Now we have, these are the tiger conservation landscapes, but they are not within protected areas. Okay, but don't do this and then go and do your, then publish it in the story, right? There might be other reasons, probably there are some protected areas, but not listed in the WRI database. There are many reasons, right? This is just for a practice purpose. All right. Then just look at, click on it, properties. go to information. Just check our new layer. There are some fields here, no context here, no history. All right, let me look at metadata. All right. So just now there was one question that, how do we calculate the area of a feature? This is probably too big, right? Let me just show you if I calculate one, let's say we pick one plantation and we try to calculate it, okay? Let's select one plantation. So guys, select any plantation that you want. Right click on the plantation, open the attribute table for the RSPO plantation. Okay, and then let me look at it. Open field calculator. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to find the calculating. I probably don't have time to calculate the areas to show you, but it is possible, right? So let me just see. Okay, one thing about QGIS before I finish, we only have like 8-7 minutes, right? Is that QGIS is a very popular tool, and it has been there for a very long time. So there are a lot of information and tutorial online. So let me see. I'll just, usually I'll just click on like search for QGIS, how to calculate area of a polygon, okay? And you will see a lot of YouTube video that you can, check on how to, you can do that, right? How to calculate polygon area in QGIS, use the area expression. Yeah, that is what I was trying to find under the geometry. Yeah. Right. Frankly speaking, I don't remember all the different functions. So a lot of time I will have to search as well. But I know, like, okay, it's here, it's there, it's roughly here and there, but I don't always do that. Okay, before we finish, right, just want to show you 2 examples investigation, right? One of them is actually done by this story. So just, if you guys can just stay on for another few minutes. The story by Makaranga is by Law Yaohua. Yaohua is one of our Rainforest Investigation Network journalists. He was in one of the panel last week where I was the moderator, right? So I'm going to put this story in the chat box. And to answer it, Harry, I don't have time to show you, but you can choose the different units, whether it's in hectares, acres, meter square or kilometer squares. Yeah, you're able to do that, right? Just search for any tutorial video online. So this story, right, is actually about, there's a new plantation going on in the state of Pahang in Malaysia. And the indigenous people, there's an indigenous people village within the area. And they were kind of like misled or cheated into signing a document saying that we support, this plantation project, right? But however, the stories managed to use certain images to show the area and where is the indigenous people village, right? One thing is that you are able to see, using certain images, you are able to see how big the damage to that area. Okay, let me just quickly pull up the polygon of the plantation. The plantation polygon was available in the EIA report. okay, the environmental impact assessment report. Right, this is the layer. It's somewhere here. Okay, yeah. Okay, this is the layer. I'm going to change the style to outline. Okay, the village, right? It's actually here. This is the village, right? You'll be only able to see, even if you search on Google Map, it is not on Google Map, right? But this is the area, okay? So you can see that this is the old satellite images because this is from Google Map. This is the old one, right? It used to be all pristine forest, you can see, right? There's some plantation going on outside here, but inside here, these are all pristine forest, right? So one question that the journalist is trying to ask is that, okay, if the village, if the indigenous people, right, if they move to the west, how much of pristine forest they can enjoy until they meet plantation? Okay, so let's use the satellite images from Planet Explorer. Now you see that the forests have been cleared, right? The village is somewhere here. I think this is the latest. So before that, right, it used to, so from here, if you keep walking westward, right, you are able to walk until somewhere here before you see plantation and other things, right? So he was trying to determine like, okay, how much, how long is that? So in this case, right, there is a ruler function, right, in QGIS that allows you to measure. So I'm going to show you how you do measurements. Click here, and you can see that how many kilometers. Oh, guys, this is great. You know what happened? My QGIS just crashed. Perhaps it is telling me that I should call it a day. Right, guys. I don't think I can show you that. Yeah, I'll probably just show you the how do you draw the ruler before we stop, right? Okay, this is the then let me just put in the Google satellite images. Okay, put the layer on the top. Change it to outline. Okay. Okay, I was saying that he used the villages here, right? He could walk. Okay, walk from all the way probably around here. And that distance is actually, you can see that it's 15 kilometers. It's 15 kilometers, right? So that's why in the story, he mentioned that here, just 2 years ago, Omar could step out of his hut into the adjacent forest and walk westward for more than 15 kilometers under the canopy. He would have seen signs of tapirs, some bears, leopard cats, and elephants, perhaps even tigers. How did he know all these animals without visiting the forest? He'll look at the biodiversity data, right, of that area, right? There are data about that. And how did the journalist, know that as 15 km, right? Yeah, because he used satellite images to measure that. Okay, so this is a very smart way of, building a narrative or giving more descriptions without visiting that location, especially during the pandemic. Okay, I think it's 9:30 minutes on question answer. If you have any questions, or you want me to show you anything, not about QGIS, probably other stuff. So far, so good, everybody. Okay, if there's no questions, then I would say thank you to everyone for attending tonight's sessions. I hope you have learned something, and really that QGIS, because this is really a very powerful tool. And the best thing is that it is free, and there are a lot of tutorials, and documentations out there that you can use, right? And a lot of satellite services, the other geospatial services, they also build plug-in for QGIS so that you can use all their different services under the same platform, right? Okay, so that's all from me tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Keng. And these sessions will be recorded and available online. Both Gustavo's from last week, which is already up. And yeah, and feel free to reach out to any of us if you have any follow-up questions. All right.
Thanks, Keng.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.